Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I would just like to start out this video by saying happy birthday, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You're 3 going on 30, and I am really excited to see you mature and develop, and as a gamer, thank you, because I've loved these last few years that I've been playing this game. It's been a lot of fun, and I've made a lot of really great friends, and I've connected with a great level of people, right? You guys are the best and a lot of fun. Now, I just want to say, what are you guys doing with your free Zeta? This is the second time that I've made this video, actually the third time that I've made this video. And one of the things that's interesting to me is I had collected a number of Zetas. Now, I'm not my good friend here who has 120 Zeta mats and a crazy amount of, I don't know, Omegas. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I see this and I'm jealous at his self-control, but at the same time, kind of want to steal his account. But as we know, that's bad. And what's interesting, guys, when I made this video, I had enough for 3 full characters or 3 full abilities to Zeta. And I was excited about that. And I was debating on what I want to do. And I wanted to talk to you guys about how I've approached my most recent choice. Now, there are a lot of great characters out there with a lot of great abilities, but as you can see through my roster, I've got a lot of really solid tunes with really solid Zetas, and the core Zetas that you kind of need, I already have. Now, there are some that you're probably wondering, like, why don't you have a Zeta on him, or why don't you have a Zeta on her? Why do you have a Zeta on him, and why do you have a Zeta on her? But for my sake, it made sense. For the most part, there's a few out there that I'm a little iffy about, a little regretful. But what I want to talk about is how I'm approaching this. And what I've decided to do is I have decided to finish out certain groups. Now, there are a handful of groups that I'm really going to be working on. And the idea is I want 5 characters from a specific faction to be completely geared out, completely Zeted, if possible. That way, it's likely that I can move on. Now, the focus here is I'm going to focus on characters, or I'm going to focus on factions that I don't feel like they're going to get much addition in the next couple of months, the next 6 months, or over the course of the next year. That does leave me with only a handful of characters, or a handful of factions. And I want to start off, first and foremost, is my First Order. Now, First Order, if you look at my First Order tunes, they're actually pretty solid. And it wouldn't take me long to completely gear up these characters and completely Zeta these characters. I actually really like the First Order. They're a lot of fun. Now, if you look at this, I've got Kylo Ren Unmasked, Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, TIE Fighter, First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Officer, and First Order Executioner, all Gear 12. First Order Stormtrooper and First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot, I do not have Gear 12. Stormtrooper is Gear 8, almost 9. First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot is almost Gear 11. So it really wouldn't take me a long time to gear and a long time to focus these characters up. Part of the reason why this isn't going to be my focus is because I don't like playing them that much. I love the First Order. I really do. I think they're great. I have Kylo Ren Unmasked double Zeted. I have Kylo Ren Zeted. First Order TIE Pilot could be Zeted very easily. He would be my last character to Zeta. The reason I wouldn't put it on Captain Phasma is because her leadership ability, while it was decent at the time, just isn't what Kylo Ren Unmasked leadership is, and really no one else has a Zeta, so it would be between these two. Now, I will probably get First Order TIE Pilot Zeted here in the next couple of months. Most likely, I would get First Order Stormtrooper completely geared out first. Now, I have put the Zeta on him. I just have to figure out how best to play him before I unload my next Zeta on First Order Trooper or First Order Pilot, just to figure that out. Next up are my Ewoks. And while I do think Ewoks are going to be viable here in the near future. While I do think they are going to be solid here in the near future, I don't want to spend a lot of time gearing these guys up. I do have a Zeta on Chief Chirpa. He's a solid character. He really is a decent character. And the Ewoks are a great team. They're a lot of fun to play. I have enjoyed some of the mini battles and some of the mini modes that they've introduced around the Ewok crew. But they are just not enough. They're just not good enough, in my mind, to completely spend that much time on. They had their purpose. They still have their purpose. I use Tebow all the time. Whenever I want to solo a Rancor, Tebow's my lead. Whenever I want to have a little bit of fun in the tank raid, I throw Ewok Elder with a Darth Vader lead. It's a lot of fun. It's a great team. Chirpa is, again, crazy fun and gets me through territory battles pretty well, or territory wars pretty well. It's just not a team that I've spent a lot of time gearing up, and because I don't think more is coming for the Ewoks, they're going to be last or later on my list. The other reason I want to wait on the Ewoks is because I do think that C-3PO is coming, and I do want to see what his kit looks like before I really spend a ton more time on the Ewoks. I think C-3PO is going to be viable. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. I do think that he's coming. Some of the leaks that we've seen have been pretty accurate, and I think that C-3PO could be on his way. Now, I don't want to spend a ton of time, like I said, until I see his kit. Now, if they introduce C-3PO, maybe they'll introduce another couple of Ewoks. I doubt it, because a lot of people don't like the Ewoks. And I don't understand that. I mean, I can see why, but I don't get it because I like the Ewoks. I just don't think that it's just not a viable team to start adding characters to. Now, next is the Phoenix Squad. I don't think that we're going to see more characters from the Phoenix Squad introduced anytime soon. These 6 are the core Phoenix Squad characters, and they work really well together. I have them all 7-star. Ezra is Zeted, and he's useful. I use Ezra probably every couple of days, depending on what events, what's going on. He is part of my Jedi team, and he is solid. I love Hera. I think Sabine is phenomenal, but I've got to get more of these guys to be gear level 12. Now, Sabine is gear 10, Kanan is gear 10, Chopper is gear 10, and Zeb is gear 8. The Phoenix team is a solid team in a few different areas, but it's one of those teams that I kind of want to piecemeal together. And it's one that I'm not ready to just dive into. They're good. They just don't have a ton of... Now, the way that I would do this, the way that I would Zeta this crew is obviously Ezra would be my first, was my first. I would then go to Sabine, most likely a toss-up between Kanan and Hera, and then I would do Zeb last. Zeb is solid, but it's definitely for a Phoenix-centered team. They're all very specific to Phoenix, but Sabine's does have use outside of the Phoenix-centered team. The others are okay, but they're not great. Now, the one that I've actually decided to spend my time on, to spend my energy, my effort on, is the Nightsisters. And if you look at my Nightsister team, it's a pretty solid team. There's a lot that I still need to do. I've got Asajj Ventress up, Nightsister Zombie, and Old Daka are all gear 12. All of the Nightsisters are 7-star. I have a Zeta on Mother Talzin, Asajj Ventress, and what I think I'm going to be doing is putting my next Zeta on either Plague Bearer, or I want to do it on Serve Again. I have considered doing the leadership ability for Asajj Ventress. I think she's phenomenal. I think this ability is a really cool ability, but I don't think it's as effective in Sith Triumvirate Raid, which is part of the reason why I want to have the Nightsister team. I'm not great with the Nightsister team. I think they're good. I don't think that we're going to be getting any Nightsisters added to this game anytime soon. I honestly think that the time for added Nightsisters is over. We might get them if and when we see the Clone Wars come the Clone Wars season 7 come out, we might get more Nightsisters then. I doubt it though. I really, really do. Because at that point, I think they're switching focus and focusing more on the Mandalorians. And if that's the case, we probably won't see any Nightsisters. I'm going to farm this team out. The others, I'm just going to gear up to a base level of 10. And that way, if and when they become viable in the future, it's not a huge jump to get them to gear 12. It's definitely time consuming. It's definitely something I'll have to focus on, but not something that's going to occupy so much time. Now, with the Nightsisters, and while I'm continuing to gear her up, I am excited to spend a little bit more time learning how to best play this team. And once I do, I'm going to try her out in the Sith Triumvirate. I'm going to try her out in a few different areas, and I want to see just how effective I can be with this team. I'm going to put some solid mods. I'm going to put the best mods I can on this team. And then once they are done, I'm going to move on. Now, this is how I'm going to spend my holiday Zeta, my birthday Zeta, whatever. It'd be cool if we got birthday Zetas for our own individual birthdays. That would be really sweet. If CG or EA is listening, do that. That would be a cool way to celebrate and, get some of our vital information, because let's face it, we all know you're trying to do that. You're trying best how to market to us. Here you go. There you go, right? Celebrate your birthday and get a free Zeta. That would be sweet. It's like an appetizer at a restaurant. But how are you guys going to spend your holiday Zeta? How did you decide to spend your holiday Zeta? Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy.